little way of sharing his knowledge and discipline. Snooky Cruz will not only teach you to fly, but he will motivate you to soar higher. So good morning, Snooky.
Yes,
Welcome
ma'am.
to the show called Self-Made.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning to ma'am. Sure.
So we are so excited to find out what made you or go into that kind of work from security. So can you share with us your childhood?
Actually, I was in grade 3. Our extracurricular activity, I wanted to go swimming, and my parents didn't want, and they wanted me to go scouting, and I didn't want to go scouting. Of course, my grandfather ended up convincing me, and I attended Cub Scout, and that was the start of it. In college, I was recruited by NICA, which is the National Intelligence Coordinating Agency, which is the Philippine CIA, actually. Then after that, I was subsequently recruited by the U.S. Embassy, the Drug Enforcement Administration. So I ran the DEA Criminal Investigation Department there, and that's how things came out.
What inspired you then when you were a kid to continue in that road?
Mostly when you graduate from LaSalle, you go into business, finance.
Yeah.
That's what the forte was. And I was saying, if a LaSalite went into a security, I'm sure it's going to be better. So we could improve the quality of performance. So I said, there won't be too much competition on my end from my school. So I think security would be a good entry point. So that's how I went about it.
So when you really get into that kind of road, what was your biggest goal that you want to achieve?
Just to be successful in my way, because you have to understand, when you are working for the government, especially an intelligence organization, you cannot get credit, you can't claim accomplishment. So it taught me to be humble, because you knew that if I accomplished something, I had to pass it on to somebody to take the credit, because I don't want to be identified. So that was the mindset. So all the more I wanted to do good, because if I would do good, somebody would look better, for me, so to speak. So I didn't want to fall short on the expectations, because it's a hard task, and at the same time, not everybody's given that chance.
So what you sacrifice for success?
There were times that I couldn't be with my family because I'd be deployed, like when I was doing the protection for Anwar Ibrahim, the opposition leader of Malaysia. I was there for a month, so I couldn't see my kids and everybody, and I couldn't communicate with them also. So that kind of thing. So there is that portions of life that but you can't regret it, because that's what brought me here, so to speak.
With that experiences you're going through right now, okay, what do you think the Philippines need?
In the security field,
Yes.
whether they be the armed forces, the police, they should not be traditional, and they should be capable of thinking out of the box. Because if you just view it at a limited perspective, then you can't see the other problems. But if you look at it on a wider scale, and you can think out of the box, then you can solve the problems. Because it's not because the predecessors of your job was doing this way doesn't mean it can't be done another way.
So how you handle your emotions? Because humans are very emotional, especially Filipinos. Like when you're upset, you use your emotion, which I'm one of that.
Of course. Actually, like this morning, on the way here, somebody cut me.
Okay.
I carry a gun. All I had to do is rush out and point the gun at him. But would that solve something? I know I can kill a person. I'm trained to do that, but I don't need to. I don't need to prove.
So how you handle?
So I just let it go, because I feel that I'm a better person than him, and I know what I can do. I don't have to prove myself, because you have to understand, most of this, even the situations wherein there are road rages, it's ego. If you can handle your ego and you know where you are, what place you are in, I don't need to prove anything to anybody.
So what made you an instructor of skydiving?
Well, actually, my friends are the ones who are running the school. I just assist, actually. But I'm a skydiver, and I've been doing it since 1989. And I wanted something different, so I took up motocross, I took up skydiving, I took up scuba diving, because these are things where individual achievements matter, and you can excel by yourself. And not everybody can jump out of a plane, so.
So what does it feel flying or feel how to skydive?
It's unexplainable, because the feeling is different, because of course you would have tried a ride on a roller coaster, it's about 100 times better and scarier at the same time, you know. So it's a real adrenaline rush.
With your job, with your experience,
Yeah.
so how you connect now with your children?
Okay, I have twin daughters actually. They're 13 years old. When they were 4 years old, I taught them how to shoot. So they were the youngest kids on the block that knew how to use a real firearm. And by 8 years old, I was already holding balloons and they'd shoot the balloons off my hands. That's how confident I am. And they have their own firearms in their house. They carry their own. They have their own knives. They're trained with the knives. Since they're girls, I had to train them in defending themselves. That's why in school, bully is not a word that they know of, you know, because even guys don't want to try even to intimidate them because they can't be intimidated. But again, it shows confidence because I know that my kids can go anywhere and I know they can protect themselves. Especially with the work I am doing, there are some guys or people who are mad at me. They might get back at my family. Even my wife knows how to shoot and she carries a gun. So, I mean, I've got that all covered, you know. And that's how I do it because unlike other people, they don't want to bring their jobs to the house, to the family. With mine, my approach is different. I don't keep any secrets. I tell them what the situation is, so they're always alert. They're trained. You know, they're always aware. So they won't be my my weak link because I don't believe in a weak link. So I try to cover all the scenarios. Yeah.
So what's your best advice now for family, especially parents, how they connect for their children in terms of their security?
Yes, I think the most important thing is make your children and your family or wife aware because most of the time, even my friends sometimes, they tend to isolate their kids from the real world. Don't watch that news because it shows bad things. And they're left in a bubble, a security bubble, which is really actually not so secure because you're not there every time. When they start going to school, then where are you?
Yes.
What if they encounter a bully or they encounter problems? They won't be able to solve themselves. What I tell my kids is, it's your judgment call. I will get mad at you if you don't decide or you don't do something about it. Better to make a mistake in judgment than not do anything at all. So it's a learning process. And if you make a mistake, learn from it. It's part of it. And again, make them aware of the criminality out there, that there are bad guys who will do bad to you and what kind of bad they can do to you. Because if you have that mindset, then your kids would be afraid to not be able to protect themselves. They'll be more aware, they'll be conscious about it, you know. And if there's any problem, they can approach and tell you about it.
Very nice. Huh?
Yes, ma'am.
So what's the best lesson you learned so far?
You have to go out there and try everything. Especially things that scare you, you have to try it. Because if you don't, life will pass by you and you'd be thinking, could I have done that or not? You know, so.
Wow. Thank you so much,
Yes,
Snooky.
ma'am. Anytime, ma'am.
Every success has its struggles. Every dream has its trials and tests. Listen to their stories because if they did it, you can also be called self-made.